There we are. Business Not As Usual podcast and the video cast. We are back for another episode. I am Vince. You are Mike.
I am Mike.
And this is slowly turning into a radio show. Hey, how are you?
Hey, coming at you.
Hey.
Top of the hour.
What's going on, Mike?
Not much, Vince. How are you?
We're really setting up this episode to be a good one because nothing's up. So
nothing is up. I think. Good. Well, I mean, there's lots up.
Oh, sure.
I think we were actually having a conversation about what is the difference between a digital transformation that everyone likes to talk about, and its lesser known cousin, the business transformation, because it doesn't seem as sexy.
It's not. Well, I mean, business is like,
It's not digital.
Digital is sexy. So what? I mean, why don't we go with that? Why don't we talk about that? What in your view, Mike, is a digital transformation?
I don't think there's such thing as a digital transformation. I know everyone's probably jaw just dropped.
Oh, it's the old bait and switch.
It's because 77 white papers on digital transformation. Everybody has to digitally transform, especially through this worldwide pandemic, Vince.
Yes.
But a digital transformation is not buying some software or having an API strategy. It's actually changing the way you do business, how you interact with your customer. That is what a transformation is. The technology just enables you to run business in a 2025 world.
Right. Well, and that's the difference, right? So, sorry, go. No, please.
But it's not sexy to say business transfer. It's more sexy, and I guess dollars flow when you say digital transformation.
Well, I mean, technology is expensive. If you want to buy that new app,
so they say
it's expensive to build. I liken it to when you take. I am not a car guy. When you take the car in to get service, and they're like, "Oh, you need a new Johnson rod." Oh, okay. I guess install the Johnson rod. Like
Johnson
I don't know.
rod.
Yeah.
I guess I do need one of those.
Put it on. Yeah, whatever. Because I don't know, right?
Right.
And so, in that way, you can have the same sort of effect when it comes to the need for we need middleware and software and hardware and integration and APIs, and we need these things because if you want to transform, we need the technology. And to me, I'm in agreement with you. The technology is the enabler of the transformation, but at the end, it comes down to really two things. And I'll bucket two things into one bucket: people and process into one, and the other one is figuring out what your customers want and giving it to them the way they want it.
Absolutely.
Which now and for the foreseeable future will be through a digital, self-service channel. That's it. That's your transformation. We just summed up our whole show in that 30-second clip.
Hey, cut it, post it. We're done.
Show's over.
I mean, I know this is much to the chagrin of vendors, but the technology and the worry about technology only comes after you fundamentally changed your business and the way you do business.
Right.
Like that's the work, and doing business happens to be when I have a transaction, it's on a thing that's like a phone or on my laptop. But you don't start with the mobile app and then back your way into what your business should be. What is your business? And then you have the technology, right? So when we talk about digital, you can talk about digital, but it's in the sense of the mindset change as opposed to the technology. So everybody equates the word digital with technology as opposed to digital equals mindset change, change to your business, change how you treat your customer, change how you interact with your customer, how you learn about your customer. That is what actually digital means.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean the fancy API
Technology,
gateway.
computer, and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mobile. And, yeah. It's funny. I was having this conversation last night on another one of my
Many shows
on my show, Analysts After Work. And I had a friend from the UK on, Adrian, who's one of those top, business analysts in definitely in the UK, but in Europe, he's one of those like thought leaders. And we were talking about how, because we cross paths a lot at conferences, we speak at a lot of the same conferences, and we were talking about what the impact to what we do from going to conferences and that sort of thing. And we both sort of agreed, and he brought it up, and so I'll give him the credit. The conferences that are trying to recreate the live experience in a digital world are doomed to fail. And I came at it from a course perspective. I'm now putting all of my courses, my workshops, and all that stuff online. But you can't. It's not a like for like.
Correct.
You actually have to reimagine what the content is. And so, we talked about conferences. You can't just say, well, we're going to take our successful live event and put it online, as one fairly big player is now doing. And they're expecting it to be the same. And it's not. So you actually, the question isn't, how do we take our conference online? It's, how do we reimagine the experience that our attendees would want to get through a digital platform?
Yeah. Through
a distributed manner, right? And that was another sort of key term there.
It's funny. I was looking for something on my laptop yesterday, and someone said, well, maybe it's in that folder. And when you think about, you have this virtual machine, it's like there's nothing physical here. But when back in the day they were imagining what a computer would be, they just took the physical world and repeated it, right? Let's put stuff in folders, and then and you do all this work. And for everyone, and this, Vince, the amount of stuff you get in a day, like, what does your desktop look like? It's probably all full of files, and then everybody always makes fun of you. Look at your desktop. Because in reality, why I'm going to spend how much time put them in folders? So our virtual world wasn't reimagined when they built computers and laptops. It wasn't, which is the same with what you're talking about. Hey, we have to recreate conferences. So let's do all the stuff that we did physically, but we'll just do it online, as opposed to, if this is the new world, we now have this blank slate to come up with what a conference is, with people all around the world and not here physically. And we can get way more people because now the barrier of travel is gone, and the cost, and people don't have to stay there all day. Like quick hits, they come in, go out, go in, go out. And so what does that look like, instead of like, here's your 2-hour workshop, or here's your hour presentation? Like, and I don't know what it is, because I've only talked at one conference, and
I was there. I was so proud.
And you were there, but
so proud.
You must see that maybe it's not an hour, maybe it's this and that. And so just recreating, saying, hey, Vince, why don't you come? You're going to do an hour. You're just recreating what happened previously in a different medium, which is, when we equate it back to digital, it's just like, here's the technology, throw it on top of what you do already, and then call it a day, which is not what conferences, that they won't get a transformation in conferences if you just do that.
Right. Well, and that's where I do a lot of work with a group out of the States that is sort of reimagining what the conference experience is. So we've actually got planned 3 events, 2 this year and 1 early next year, that are going to be completely different. So and this is not sell. I'm just it's just really, really cool. The first one is being sort of divided into what I'm calling a rock opera. The morning is a rock opera of learning, and the afternoon is a roast.
Is a what?
A roast.
A roast, like
Yeah, so
a comedian roast?
Yeah. So I have to write jokes.
I have to write jokes. Write jokes
roasting our good friend Bob. You remember Bob from it's so.
Why are you guys gonna roast Bob? He's a good guy.
I'll tell you after the show.
Oh, okay.
There's some stuff. But then the second one, so the third one is still in progress, is still being thought of. But the second one is being designed as an escape room.
Oh, very cool.
It's very cool. So, you go through, you use your, in this case, business analysis skills and your collective IQ to solve puzzles to get to the next room, and then to the next room. So, at the end, the goal is to work collaboratively through a virtual medium to solve the I think it's find the missing requirements or something like that.
Right.
The missing requirements package. But it's a complete reimagining of a conference experience.
Right.
That, I don't know would work as well in live. So it is right, because now you've got multiple people in multiple rooms going through, and they can all talk and whatever. You couldn't do that live. So they'd have to go one at a time, which is that's not that fun.
No, it is not that fun.
So there's an example of completely reimagining something for a digital world, right? And it's being done to then live on, because even though live events, live business, like, customers will still want the live touch. Just to tie this back, some of them still will want that, but they want to be able to do it on their terms.
Right.
So if I want to reach out to one of your call center people, I want to get somebody. It shouldn't matter if it's 2 p.m. or 10 p.m. I have a problem, and I need someone to solve it for me. So, I think that's the world that we're going to move to, and I don't think there's any avoiding it.
There's not. And if we take that story that you just talked about, how in that story you didn't talk about technology at all. What you talked about was reimagining how you would do something. So equate that to your business. First, you guys reimagined what the business would be, and now you're going to go and say, here's how the technology enables that to happen, as opposed to, let's get to technology and then jam how we're going to do the conference into said technology, because we've already decided that
what we're going to use.
And that is the difference when we talk about business transformation and digital transformation.
Right.
That is the rails that we're talking about.
That's exactly what happened. It was, what do we want to do? What technology or what platform will allow us to do that? Right. And then we found that. So it was a I wouldn't call it a business transformation, because it's not, and it's very much sort of on brand with the folks that are involved to be that, innovative, forward thinker, forward thinking. So it's not a transformation per se, but it is a reimagining of what could be.
That's what I mean.
Right.
And I think that's what people need. That's a very tangible example of what we've been trying to say, which has been more theoretical, but that is a tangible example of the mindset change and the change to worrying about people and process over technology.
Yeah, it's people, and I was accused recently of
Good.
like coming back and talking about
Golly.
oh, it's a process, and like, well, no, it's more of a journey. No, it's a process. Like, and they're like, well, of course the Six Sigma guy is going to see everything like a process. I'm like, but whether you call it a journey or a process, a journey is a process. A process is a journey. It's the same thing. It's just, it's the thing that's going through people don't go through a process. People go through a journey.
Correct.
Right? Transactions don't go through a journey. Your form or your metadata is not on a spiritual quest to find itself.
Yes.
Right? It's going through a process. It goes
Yes.
step 1, step 2, step 3. The journey is, for me, it ties more into people. So people go through journeys, things go through processes, but it's the same thing. It's you do this, then you do this, then you do this. That's it.
Yeah.
So, you could say I see everything as a process, and we can debate whether that's true or not. But the terminology is what separates us, right?
Right.
Everything does come down to a process. Even technology is executing a process. It's just happening so quickly you don't see it.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and I think what I want to overlay on that is we talk about people and the people change, and you can't talk about people change without a culture change to your business.
1,000%.
Right. So when the two of us talk about how you treat your customers different, and how that is the culture shift of how do we do things today, and thinking internally and just thinking about the company, to how do we take an outside-in approach, right? So how do we think about the customer? How do we change our culture to engage with our customers to create better solutions? How do you drive more delegation so power isn't centralized in your company? How do you value collaboration? How do you get more collaboration? And how do you get to that speed of iteration?
Mm-hmm.
So that also is the transformation that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all, it's always attributed to, that's what digital does, but that's actually attributed to culture, which is back to your people, which is back to your business transformation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that are important when you're talking about a transformation.
Well, and what sort of irks me, and I'll give you some credit, Mike, because I think you've, from a social perspective, you've done a good job of highlighting the need for parallel process and digital. I don't see a lot of that from other, quote unquote, digital transformation experts. It's always touting the benefits of the technology.
Yes.
And to me, I think, that is largely vendor driven, because it's sales. And again, the technology is cool. It's sexy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I want to build an API. I want to build build AI or a chatbot.
Yes.
I want to have, integrate a robotic process automation. Yeah. Me too. But it's to do something.
What?
And it's, and that's the thing. It's like, can we solve this? Because here's the other thing with that. Each of those requires time and requires capital expenditure. I have to spend money to do those things. Now, if I'm a big multinational, I may not care. But if you're not, even if you are a big multinational, you should care about your bottom line and your shareholder value. There's usually another way to achieve the same objective. It just requires a little bit more work.
And I want to talk about, it takes time.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've seen a lot of it in the COVID world, about how, look how fast we launched this, which I think for, in the most part, is a story.
Mm-hmm.
Because things take time. I don't care if it's digital. It takes time to build these things. It takes time from when you have an idea, you do the research, you do your service design, you go back to the customer, you iterate. These making this takes time.
Mm-hmm.
And the thought that COVID hit and then we started pumping out all kinds of digital you don't just go from a traditional company that doesn't do that to magically in a month crank, we're just like whipping them out.
Mm-hmm.
No. And so when we talk about culture, it's that change. But also, this is why you and I always talk about, and I don't want to talk about agile, iterating on a product. So iterating on our product means you get something out and it looks like it was fast, but it only does one thing. And then you continue to build on it. But when you take a look at the whole building, it's a long time. That's why you throw stuff out there, you ship constantly, because it takes a long time to go from a traditional company to the new high-flying transformational company. And you can't wait that long. So you need to iterate. So it looks like you're pumping out all kinds of things, but in the end, the transformation is long. This isn't like 2 minutes. So I want to be clear when everybody's like, we just. You didn't just. It takes a long time. And that's why we're big proponents on MVPs and iterating. And what's the minimum viable process, minimum viable service design, minimum viable product. Those things are all in line. Again, changing the people, changing the process, changing the culture. That is a transformation.
Right. It's just to equate this to a different perspective. It's like those, overnight successes that are 20 years in the making.
Yes.
Right. Like,
yeah.
I don't consider myself, I would love to be a thought leader in my field. I'm not there yet. But when people comment to me, you're always creating new content and sharing stuff and to me, that's the work. So that one day you get to be, everyone gets, I knew him when, you've made it. And it's like, yeah, but it took 20 years or 10 years, or hopefully not 10 years, but it takes time to achieve success. And it looks easy because you come in at the end.
Or you see the final product. Like
that's what I mean. You come in, you see the end, right?
A person that we both follow, right? Always says this. You see LeBron now.
Right.
Oh my God, he's so good, right? Everyone's like, look at Amazon. They do 300 live changes a day to their website. We need to do that. Yeah, good luck with that. They've been having that culture and that way of thinking since like 94. I don't know, whenever they started in his basement or his garage.
Yeah.
So you look at Amazon now and go, I want to be that. Okay, so in 20 years you'll be that. Because remember, it's taken them this long to be that. You're looking at the final product. You're looking at LeBron now dunking. You didn't look when he couldn't even hit a basket. Right? You're looking at any like Tom Brady now. But everybody remember, Tom Brady was second string quarterback. He couldn't barely throw. You're looking at them now.
Oh, there's no Tom Brady if Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt.
Right.
Right?
But
like
also,
that was it.
With all the work they had to put in. Like Drew Bledsoe just didn't get hurt and then Brady started throwing touchdowns. So when I say it takes a long time, it takes a long, don't look at Amazon and go, our company needs to be Amazon next year. Nope. Not going to happen.
Yeah. Hey, I know he's not with them anymore, but can we stop talking about Tom Brady? Because I hate the Pats.
What's with you guys in that division?
Everyone
Jets,
hates each other.
The Dolphins. You guys all hate him. He just throws the ball, and he just happens to put it in the end zone against you. But I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I'm glad he's gone now. He's out of the division. It's not that Miami's any better; they're still terrible. But
you're just gonna find someone else to hate because they beat you at the last minute.
No, that division's pretty bad now.
Well, they got Superman now. I mean, the Pats got what's that dude from Carolina?
Cam Newton.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot he did
He's
the
good.
Superman.
The guy's like he's like 240. He runs over people. But
He's
listen,
older, but I mean,
Belichick's gonna
I
reinvent
think
them. He's gonna
I think
reinvent them, and you're gonna go, I hate that Cam Newton.
I hate that Cam Newton.
Listen, I got Dallas. They always find a way to lose. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
If anybody needs a transformation, for God's sake.
You know, this is now serious comment. I have been working on a for European football, for soccer, a transfer equation, so that you can actually determine, based on a player's age and skill and number of goals and minutes played, that you can come up with a transfer value. And I think if I can do it, because my goal is just to start working with football clubs in Europe, because you know they got
nothing wrong with that goal,
but like, to me, that's it helps clubs that want to be fiscally responsible, because they're not going to lay out 10 million euros on a player who's only worth 5.
Right.
They could also then say, oh, this guy, based on his skill and fit and everything, he should be worth 20 million, but he's only there for 10. I'm going to buy him because he's going to be good value. I don't know how that equates to what we're talking about, but you want to talk about in need of transformation? How about the way that these leagues and these clubs are run, just like money-making machines?
Yes.
And then they end up going bankrupt.
Yeah,
that's a problem. So I'm gonna try to solve that. I got to figure out what world problem I'm gonna solve.
Football transformation,
all transfers, but it ties in, right? Because they are creating a product, and a lot of them are now introduced. Like, they've had to solve the problem of, we're now playing in stadiums with no fans.
Correct.
That is a significant source of revenue. How do we replace that? And so what a lot of them have done, and I think baseball has done this as well, they've sold seats.
Yes.
So virtual seats, right?
Yes.
So you can watch the game from a seat.
Yes.
As if you were there, but you're not there.
Right.
Which is fascinating.
It is fascinating.
So talk about reimagining the in-stadium experience.
Right.
Just minus the beer getting spilled on you.
Yes.
And having to get up every time somebody wants to walk down your aisle, right? Like, it's actually taken the bad things out. Now it doesn't have some of the good things, the camaraderie and all that crap, but there's still some good recreation.
Sure.
It's a reimagining, right? It's a reimagining.
You don't have to leave 5 minutes early.
You don't have to leave 5 minutes early to beat traffic. I think that's only a Toronto thing, though.
Is it? Everybody else waits till the end and then stays in traffic?
I think so.
That's only a Toronto thing.
That's what I've heard.
Are you sure? Really?
I mean, every other time I've been to an event in a different city,
they stay to the end?
They stayed to the end. It wasn't that.
It must be a Toronto thing. Then.
It must be. Yeah. In our next episode, we're going to go into more detail on my transfer equation.
And the social habits of Torontonians when it comes to sporting events.
Yes. So I think anything more you want to add there, Mike?
No, I think I hope we've driven the point home. If we haven't, please reach out to us and comment comment or ask us if you think we've missed something or challenges on what we've said today.
Or in any episode, for that matter. I love being challenged. It's fun.
Yes.
So, all right, cool. Well, in that case, this brings us to a close on episode 23 of the Business Not As Usual podcast. So I'm Vince, you're Mike, and we will catch you in the next one. See you, everyone.